For development, we know in theory lots of right things to do in terms of economic policies. But in practice, development is not easy to achieve. Why? Well, to elaborate on this question a bit, for example, throughout the last century, ever since the end of colonialization, for instance, many countries joined the global race of development. Among them, only a handful of countries recorded remarkable success. Others, while generating something like progress, still they did not reach the level of development that they are really happy about. When we think about it, it is indeed puzzling. Public policy schools like us worldwide have taught their students what the right policies are so far. And international organizations such as the World Bank and the IMF have been preaching for decades the so-called optimal policy mixes. If and when everyone knows what to do to achieve development, why is it then we do not see development everywhere? One answer would be that it is because politics matters for development. And practicing right kind of politics is much more complex and difficult than just trying right kind of economic policies. Under improper kind of politics, proper economic policies often cannot be implemented or cannot even have their intended impacts. Such improper political conditions include severe division, polarization, and disunity within a nation. Such situations can happen under any kind of political systems. It can occur in failed states such as what we call the anarchies, or under dictatorships, or in authoritarian systems, and even in fully mature democracies, it could indeed happen. Why do we call severe divisions, polarizations, and disunities improper kind of politics here? The reason goes as the following. There are essential roles of politics. They include articulating ideas for common goods, be it development or others. And this articulation can come from shared understanding of common interests. Based on the shared ideas, systems then can be built together. That is institution building we talk about a lot. For development of a nation, this process has to take place. People first have to agree that they share common interest in seeking development. Then, ideas may be articulated about its direction and mode. And then, based on these ideas, national system called institutions may be built to execute these ideas. This is the proper role of politics, making sure people agree on interest and ideas and work together to build national institutions and systems. Going back to the very beginning of our discussion today, doing the right things mostly focused on executing right policies. But right policies cannot be executed when you do not have proper institutions in place and functioning well. You cannot have institutions in place and functioning well when you as a nation do not share the ideas of what kinds of institutions will be built and how they will be operated. And you as a nation cannot share such ideas unless you agree on the common interest. Here we can see how much work politics need to do before a nation can execute the right policies for development and make sure that they work. For this proper kind of politics to work, we need democracy, bottom-up mobilization. Through democratic politics, people have to come together, to act together out of their own volition. We have heard calls for strong leadership before. Well, strong leadership works well only when there is a sustained corresponding response from the people bottom up. Actually, top-down leadership may seem working for a while at the beginning, but they cannot last long. If a top-down leadership is successful at the beginning, the economy will grow. But when an economy reaches a certain size, top-down dictation of what to do cannot work alone for a long time. Self-motivated bottom-up action is necessary for a large-sized growing economy. Democracy makes such self-motivated bottom-up action possible. Through democracy, people need to be inspired to be in charge. Democracy puts people in the driver's seat. You must put people in the driver's seat in order to achieve the long climb up on the development curve. For decades, the Korean people have asked their political leadership and the government to deliver development. First, in the form of economic growth, and then political freedom, institution building, and political economic reforms. This happened early on, almost as soon as Korea became a modern nation, regaining its independence from the Japanese colonial rule in the mid-1940s. Korea's first president was pushed out of the office when he stayed there too long without delivering economic development. President Byung-Joo was well aware of this, thus working hard to deliver economic development. He was successful in doing this, but when the economy achieved fast growth and he did not deliver political development, he was removed. The third authoritarian president, John Doo-hwan, did what he can to make people free to pursue ever greater economic prosperity. But when he could not deliver political development, he too was forced to surrender to people's will. Since then, the presidents the Korean people elected worked hard to deliver political as well as economic development and reforms. The road has been rough, but we have come a long way so far. Politics is a mechanism through which people make collective decisions and take collective actions. Through such process, true development can be achieved. That is why democracy is important. In the first place, people have to want development in order for development to happen. That is the first step, agreeing on common interest. Based on the agreed common interest, vision need to be put together. That is sharing ideas, the collective decision making. Based on the collective ideas, a national system could be put together. Institutions can be built to make development continue, sustainable over time. Then, right kind of economic policies can be introduced and executed, producing intended results. And most importantly, as economies develop and politics develop, new needs to reform the systems and institutions will arise. These needs, again, must be smoothly agreed upon. Then, new collective action directions can be put together to reform and improve the institutions and the national system. Such process must go on and on and on. And what makes that possible is politics. So for development, politics matters critically. And for that, we need democracy.